they just interviewed Amare Stoudemire about Carmelo Anthony getting into the Hall of Fame, and it didn't sound like it was rainbows and lollipops from Amare.
So when Melo comes to our team, the ball it's not moving as much because Melo requires a lot of attention. He's on the offensive breaks.
It's New York Minutes.
The reason I bring Amare Stoudemire up is because you guys got to remember where the New York Knicks were after the Allen Houston salary cap hell. Okay, then we brought in Isaiah Thomas, who was worried about diddling people in the office way more than he was worried about what was going on in basketball.
So when he gets to basketball, he's looking to score, and so a lot of the cohesiveness somewhat faded away during that time.
So the New York Knicks were in cap hell. They literally signed Amare Stoudemire without an insurance policy on his $72 million contract for 3 years. $72 million for 3 years. Nobody in the NBA wanted to sign him. Then what did he say during the post, Pat? It was pretty interesting.
Well, I mean, he was talking about how when he first came for the first half of that season, when he was there, because Melo didn't come until February that year. So he was saying for the first half of the season that all the guys that were playing with him on that team were having career years. And, it's a valid point. And then when Melo came, you're bringing star power, and now in all kudos to Melo, I mean, as much as we say, as far as straight up offensive, like dominant players, he was one of the best. Yeah. I mean, one-on-one, Melo is smoking people. But you get somebody like that on your team, and that guy commands the ball. He wants the ball. And this is what Stoudemire was saying, was like, before he came, there was ball movement. We were moving the ball around. Everybody was scoring. You and I talk about this all the time with the Knicks. Yeah. Ball movement, move the ball, drive and kick. All the things that you need to do in order to spread the floor around and get open shots, get good shots, and when your guys are making shots. And that wasn't happening.
Turned into isolation ball with Melo all the time, and Amare Stoudemire came in there. And the reason I also bring it up, it was the juice was back in the garden, dude. We had Amare was the first step. He was the first acquisition after the salary cap hell. Then we start bringing in guys like Novak, and then out of nowhere, fucking Linsanity hits. And when Linsanity hit, I had to go to Bellevue because I had Linsanity bad. And Pat knows this more than anybody else. I always ask the question, better experience, Carmelo Anthony's whole career or Linsanity? And I'm leaning towards Linsanity because guess what? I don't at 2:30 in the morning turn on highlights of Melo's career. I watch for the 43-minute video on YouTube about Linsanity dropping. And also, Carmelo Anthony ran Jeremy Lin out of here.
Yeah, 100%. That's why that was absolutely why it was, because, now you got somebody who's like, everybody's like, yo, give him the ball. And I was like,
he was more worried about getting 42 points a night than his team winning. And which makes me scratch my head about that, Pat, is he won a fucking chip in Syracuse, man. I believe I believe he in the center position, and he looked like he was going to come to the NBA and put it on its ear and start winning chips. He got to the playoffs the first year with the Nuggets, and then he completely tanked. The furthest he ever got in the playoffs was the first round. Brunson's got more, almost owns the career amount of games for the Knicks in playoff history already. Also, I mean, that
was a dreadful time to be a Knicks fan.
It was a dreadful time.
I mean, I was telling somebody the other day, I used to start the Knicks out watching like the first 20 games of the season and just be so frustrated that I wouldn't even watch the full games anymore. I just couldn't even do it. It was awful.
The Eddie Curry Knicks, it all happened. The Stephon Marbury, like the tail end of Stephon's career. When we got Stephon, that had some juice on it. But like the Eddie Curry, Nate Robinson, and no offense to these guys, they were
but Eddie Curry came. They were playing off of the strength he had with the Bulls, right? He came from the Bulls, and he had. But he was playing great there, but you're not putting pieces together.
It was a salary cap dump because Isaiah Thomas didn't have any fucking money, so they had to get Eddie Curry in a buyout. That's also another really, really murky thing in the NBA is these buyouts and these contracts and absorbing contracts and shit. So the free agency, I'm still trying to figure out all that nonsense. Yeah, but so the Knicks, and that's the thing. Either you're a 90s Knicks fan, right? You're either a Melo Knicks fan, which everybody, I guess, born after September 11th is a Melo fan, I guess.
Well, I mean, they were kids when he was there. That's think about like I was a kid watching Patrick Ewing and John Starks
this
and,
gets back
and Larry Johnson and Oakley.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And like that's.
But this
it's
gets
not
back
even
to
comparable.
But the Knicks fans love mediocre dudes.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like, I'm fucking guilty of it, bro. Like, I love Novak. Novak's my dude. Like, you want to talk about as mediocre as it gets. You look at
I love Kolek. Look at me, man. I'm talking the other night. I'm like, watch him. You got to see him threading the needle. But the guy can thread the needle. He just can't hit a shot. You ever
meet a friend that's smitten with a girl? That's Pat and Kolek's romantic relationship that he's got going on. And what did I say to you? I turned to you during the game. We were at the home opener, and you're like, the people love this Kolek kid. I go, yeah, it's because he's a scrappy white guy. That's why they love him. If he
was, but I mean he was great in college too. Yeah. I mean, he's a great player. I mean, he's got to pull it together. But you're right. Knicks fans do have an affinity for the mediocre, and I think that the point for that is that we've been so used to mediocrity our whole life. Yeah. Even when the Knicks are good, we get a good year and then we get 3 shit ones after it.
Well,
and it's like, and it's and how do you even quantify that in your brain? You don't. You're like, oh, I like this guy. Oh, I like this guy. You know what I mean?
Example: Josh Hart. Josh Hart is that example. So he's a guy that gets you to the dance. He is the Tom Thibodeau of players. He's going to be the guy that's taking the slings and arrows, and he's in the foxhole. And thank you for your service, Josh Hart.
He plays his ass off, man. The guy plays his ass off.
And I said to you before, the New York Knicks would be a better team if he was the 6th man on this team. And guess what? That's only pushing it. That's really pushing it to make him the 6th man on this team, because McBride's going to be the 6th man on this team. So he's
I'd say more like maybe the 8th or the 9th man.
But it's blasphemy. You say that about Hart. And he's the number 2 selling jersey on this fucking team.
I know. Well, the guy plays because he plays
with Hart. Yeah, I get it.
Lack of a better term.
Yeah.
But it's still, you're right. And I mean, but that's like, you're still there. You're looking there and you're looking at talent. You're looking at who's producing, and like, it's. Obviously we're so early in the season, and we're so early in the season. Tonight's going to be a good, a good test with GA in town. I mean, that's going to be sick.
Well, I would say that Yabusele, and Collins are.
But he hasn't been playing well, and he hasn't. He has potential. I mean,
McBride, Yabusele, and Collins are all choices before I'm even going to Hart. If I need some rebounds and we're running a small set out there and I need 5 rebounds in a minute for some odd reason, I'm sending Hart in. The guy he can't shoot. He cannot shoot. He is a terrible passer. They put him out on the 3-point line. They put all their guys in. They double cat whenever he's on the court, and they go, shoot the ball. Shoot.
Please. But there's room for a guy like him in Mike Brown's 11-man rotation that we're looking at.
Okay.
There's room for him, and there's room for 12 to 15 minutes a game for him when we need somebody to come in and do that. There's room for that.
He's undersized Draymond Green, though. Then, like, he's a Timu Draymond Green. Do we need a Timu? I don't know.
I mean, but we were talking about how deep the Knicks bench is, and he's a part of that depth on the Knicks bench. He is not a starter for the Knicks. We know that.
Also,
with the team that we have.
I want you to hear something for a second. I think it's either I got a blood clot or I had an epiphany. Mitchell Robinson is the Giancarlo Stanton of the New York Knicks.
That's fair. Yeah, 100%. And where the hell is he?
He's on the back of a fucking milk carton, Pat.
Yeah, but I mean, for four games of load management.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I got a load you can manage. But like it's like the whole thing is just it just doesn't make any sense to me. This guy is a he's should be a key to this team.
He could be number one top defensive
Yeah,
player of the year candidate.
100%.
If he could bang
Absolutely.
out in 71 games,
Yeah,
Mitchell Robinson could be an elite
for sure.
player. Just like Giancarlo Stanton could hit 45 home runs if the man didn't paralyze both of his arms cutting a Ruby Tuesday steak. Mitchell
Yeah,
Robinson,
but I mean, but is the guy, but what is the reason? Is he hurt?
yes.
And they're just not telling us?
He's inherent. No. He's hurt all the fucking time. It's part of his game.
I know. But I'm saying now. Is he hurt now? How could you be hurt now?
I couldn't tell you.
How could you be hurt now? It's the beginning of the season. And now somebody was saying, I watched somebody say something. Well, is it because, they're trying to stretch him out, 2 weeks at the beginning of the season to try to get 2 weeks out of him at the end of the season?
Yes.
No way. What do you mean? You're a professional athlete. You stood on 1 or 2 games in the thing. How the hell? Who's doing that math?
I agree.
Who's doing that math?
I agree. Listen, we're not breaking up rocks at the Rock Quandary. We're playing basketball here. I get it. But also, I call it the Bartolo Colon rule with Giancarlo Stanton. Remember Bartolo Colon, that fat fuck? He'd go 13-1 in the first half of the season. Then what happened? He would finish the fucking season 13-4 because he ran out of gas. I'd tell that mofo, stay down in the DR, have some empanadas, keep that weight on, senor, come in after the fucking All-Star break, and now we get a 13-1 Bartolo Colon on our hands. So why not play the game? I understand. Let's have this guy available for every game. With the influx of the talent on the bench, you can actually have Mitchell Robinson not be in. So would you rather have Mitchell Robinson play right now tonight against the Bucks in the 4th game of the season and not be? So I know what you're saying. One has nothing to do with the other. Just because if he plays tonight doesn't mean he's not going to be available for the playoffs. You can't tell the future. I get it. But you can mitigate risks with.
Sure, 100%. But, you got to make it to the playoffs. You know what I mean? And you gotta put the work in to make it to the playoffs. And you got to get the cohesiveness with this team. If we're going to contend for a chip, which, the buzz around New York, how everybody is.
It's
and now
making me nervous.
me and you, we're not counting chicken types. But, it's still the buzz around is a lot of people are expecting the Knicks to be contenders. And last year they were contenders.
I'll tell you this.
And now they have a better team this year. A deeper team and a better team. And, my thought process is the guy's got to be hurt. It can't just be load management. It can't be. He's got to be hurt.
I think,
and they're just not telling us.
So he didn't even play at Vanderbilt because he was hurt. He was literally on the team for a year, and then he went to the NBA draft. That's how.
But he sat the last 2 or 3 preseason games too.
Yeah. So I think it's a matter of both. I think they want to keep us.
That's like a month. That's like a month off right now.
They're obviously keeping us in the dark about Mitchell Robinson for some reason. So that makes you a little scared. It could be one of 2 things. Either they don't really need him right now. I mean, they haven't even played Diadit yet. Like, there's 3 guys on this team that haven't even seen the court yet. Mitchell Robinson's one of them. So, you know what? Hopefully he will see the court soon. But the one thing about around the league is, first, as far as the East is concerned, if you looked at that last game, they just played against the Miami Heat. Miami Heat are back, okay? Tyler Hero wasn't even playing the other night, and the Heat handled them. And the New York Knicks are not going to handle good shooting teams. They need a Novak. They need a lights out third 3-point guy. But the 2 teams that don't match up well against the New York Knicks, and the reason I'm saying this is because everyone's picking them to go to the finals, and that makes you nervous. That makes me nervous in turn because we are 90s Knicks fans. All we know is Payne and Reggie Miller and Michael Jordan and then, expect the worst, hope for the best. But you have the 76ers who are not even utilizing Joel Embiid right now, and they are on fire. The Heat are on fire to start the season.
Well, I mean, so in the Knicks' defense here, it was the home opener in Miami.
Yep.
They were all juiced up. They shot incredible from the free throw line and incredible from 3. They're not going to shoot like that every game. You know what I mean? And the Knicks aren't going to shoot as bad as they did. And they, it wasn't awful loss. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
no,
And the
it
Knicks
wasn't.
and the Knicks played like shit, and they came back at the end and could have, if they didn't take a couple of those fucking shit shots at the end, and they could have fucking, moved it around at any point during that game, it could have went that way.
But the thing
I mean,
is, we're bringing this is basketball on New York Minute now, Pat. Everything will be examined. The Knicks will be held to a higher standard. The reason I am doing a post-game show for the New York Knicks this year is because it is championship or bust. We are in battle fucking stations right now for the New York Knicks, and I am fucking locked in. Right? So what we need to do is we actually need to not talk about how good the Knicks are. We need to talk about the weaknesses and get it out there.
100%.
And this is
Stop running the ball up the court and shooting immediately. Move the ball around. Let me get 3 or 4 passes before I get a shot. Let's get somebody in there, have them drive, dish. There's so many things that this team can do that with the talent that's there that it's frustrating. Like we said the other night, it's a little frustrating to watch Cat right now.
Okay, yeah.
Because I don't feel like there's any urgency in this man's game. Like we said, you did it perfectly the other night when you put that thing up with the Sopranos running through the snow. It's exactly what it is. It's like he's got snowshoes on coming up and down.
Karl-Anthony Towns, literally, look, I text Pat and I go, it looks like he's running with snowshoes on, because what happens is Karl-Anthony Towns comes down the floor. They're running the floor on. First of all, the Miami Heat had 26-3 points on fast breaks. So Karl-Anthony Towns was running up and down the fucking court, and the Miami Heat did that on purpose. Okay, and then Bam Bam on the Heat, he knows how to run the floor. He's actually a big man that can run the floor. And by the way, his game has expanded completely. I haven't seen that dude like really in 2 years. He was a guy that sat under the fucking rim like Lurch. Now he's running the point almost at one point last night. That's a guy that should have been a New York Knick. That's a Ron Artest kind of guy who's developing his game later in his life, which was just a rebound and small offense kind of guy. But, dude, that dude, watching him play, that's a kind of guy, man, I'm like, I wish he was on the Knicks. And talking about mediocre players, the guy that we need back in this fucking team is DiVincenzo, bro. Like,
yeah,
you know what?
Amen to that. Yeah, I mean, that.
And I'll link this into Karl-Anthony Towns and all this, because when we acquired Karl-Anthony Towns, everyone was throwing a parade for DiVincenzo and crying over the coffin like an Italian Sicilian mother, going, "Not DiVincenzo. We can't trade DiVincenzo. He's one of us." Boom! See ya! And just like our boy Chapman, who we'll get to, Chapman, we traded him for Gleyber Torres. He went and won a chip with the Cubs, and then he wound up coming back to the team. So that's what I want to see with DiVincenzo. A little trade deadline acquisition from Leon Rose, right? Spread those cheeks, get in there and go, yo, give me DiVincenzo. All right, and boom, closes him, and then he's back out. Think about this. I want you to think about this. The Knicks, the Cavaliers, and the Heat are all playing really, really well. And then the New York Knicks, first game from the trade deadline, DiVincenzo at home. You're going to have to call the fucking National Guard in to MSG, to DiVincenzo coming back to this team.
His skill set is
perfect.
To your point before, is exactly what we need.
It's exactly what we need. And then also, this is the Jump to Conclusions League, the NBA. And also, guys, you can check out my New York Knicks post-game every single night after the game. But the Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Pistons by 33 points last night. Yeah. Okay? So everyone was like, maybe the Cavs aren't the team they were. They just took a team like the Pistons, who match up really well against the New York Knicks, played them really tough in MSG last year. We were there to see it, Pat. And they mopped the floors with them last night. So this East isn't a fucking cakewalk. This ain't a foregone conclusion, man. And I don't know about you mellow young basketball fans, but I'll believe it when I see it. I got to see the Knicks against the Houston Rockets, and then Al Cowlings and O.J. Simpson stole my dream from me. And then in 1998, we had Grandma Ma and company, who had no reason being in the finals, against the Greg Popovich, French Argentinian, and goddamn Tim Duncan-led Spurs. You kidding me? Oh, and Parker in there too.
No,
So
yeah, I mean,
all we know is pain, Pat. And tonight we're going to be watching the World Series. We're going to be watching the New York Knicks at the Milwaukee Bucks. We could be possibly seeing a future New York Knick playing against us tonight. So this is what it's going to come down to, and I'll close the show on this. I want you to think about something tonight when you're watching the Milwaukee Bucks game. Will the Knicks blow up their team like they did for Carmelo Anthony and the New York Knicks West, which were the Denver Nuggets? Will they blow this whole chemistry up and the Nova Knicks for the Greek Freak on the Milwaukee Bucks? I'm going to let you sit with that. And remember, if you can't be good, be bad, baby. Bye!